So yeah, they started the Grove off in a very paranoid way, using Christine Pavelka's voice and Terry McCoy's voice from Capital Credit Union. They used your voice as well, and these visuals too of like you know how like Terry, like if people know that know Terry, you know he does this thing where he's like, huh. Like, I haven't seen Terry in like 15, 17 years. Like, I last worked at Capital Credit Union too, and he had already left the credit union, I think, by then. I don't think he was working there anymore. Last time I worked at the credit union was like 2004. That was part-time. And so it's like, it's been at least at that time, it'd been like probably at least 15 years since I'd seen him. But I remember like his mannerisms, you know, and he does that thing where he's like, it's sort of an awkward moment, or someone says something and he's like, with his eyes, he's like, his little grimace. If those that know him will know what I'm talking about. And I just worked with the guy. I didn't even like, but I knew that mannerisms, and they knew it too. And they would project that image of him doing that, and they used his voice a lot too at the beginning. They haven't used his voice much since then, but Christine Pavelka, they used your voice like a motherfucker to like threaten me, to make me feel like I was like gonna be arrested. But then like when they told that story about how like Micah was like weird, like and they're like, oh no, like, and then like my father had been murdered or wasn't even murdered, and they made it seem like, and they tried to make me feel guilty about it as if I had plotted it myself. So I felt like, and then my door eventually was opened, and then I was walking out to try to find them because they kept making me think people were there, and I was like, okay, where are they? Like Mike was there, and like, and not in a bad way. They kind of glossed over the murder part very early on, and they started making it into like a sexual or fun road trip adventure that was about to begin, sexual or non-sexual. And they made me think like Justin that used to live with me, Justin Barrera, like they kept making me think like he was in a fight club with Micah, and like that like he and like all these other people from my house were like, and they used his name specifically, and they were like blood in, blood out. Like they wanted me to kill someone that was allegedly part of the club, a guy who actually heard them at the Studio 6, who visited me at the Studio 6 and heard them when they were calling me faggot, and like he heard it too, and I saw it in his face, and I was like, you heard that, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, they're calling us faggots, and he's like, he laughed. And I even had a hookup with him at the Studio 6, and like they were giving it a play-by-play as if they were describing it through people, you know, looking through the wall, and like they were describing it to someone, like as if they couldn't put it on TV or whatever, and like or if there were even other people there. And I'm like, I don't need a play-by-play. I'm in the play-by-play. Like, you shouldn't be watching this. You shouldn't be able to watch this, and you shouldn't be doing that if you have that capability. You should, and if you are, shut the fuck up and leave me alone. But they made it seem like they were there, and I went there, and I was running around the complex, like, where are they? Where are they? And then like Max got lost, and I went to the dog park to look for him, and then so like Max got lost, and then like my door had been opened, and I think during that period, so I lost Max, and I don't know if it was in that day period or not. It might have been a second event, but I felt like I was about to throw up or something, but I wasn't throwing up. I felt like someone was grabbing me, like I was like, and then like I got down on the floor, and then like I literally was being dragged around the apartment. Now I could have gotten up, and sometimes like when I kind of like snapped out of it, I was like I could stand up, but they literally like were making my muscles push me around my apartment. So it was literally like on the floor, and they made it fun. They made a joke about it, how they Swiffered the apartment with me, how they were moving me from room to room, and it didn't feel like a force was literally dragging me, but it felt like a force was manipulating my body, like zapping my muscles in a point, but not in a painful way, to get in like to hold me in certain ways and to push me down, like to hold me in a certain position, or like that, and then like. I had never experienced anything like that in my life, so there was new capabilities coming from them with whatever they have. So they have refined that like a motherfucker. If that sounds crazy, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck? They made me think that Jason from Studio 6 was coming there with Micah or without Micah, and that like he was part of it, and blah blah blah. And they kept making things sexual or things like murder, and then like it was fucked up. But then like I lost Max. And they made me think that like Dory, if you're watching this, I hope that you do watch this, and I hope you do understand that like I'm not a crazy person. I'm not a drug addict. I was made to look like that by these people. And Gavin and both those maintenance men, 2 or 3 of them, I think all 3 of them are aware of this to some extent. And I'll get to that later. But I hope that you're not aware of it. If you are, you need to go to the cops. But I couldn't even look you in the face. because they made me think that at one point when I was naked in my apartment, when the door had been opened, and I found that out like the next morning or whatever, that you'd walked in and seen me naked, just sitting there convulsing because they were like zapping me, and I was like, like that, and they made me think like I was like leaving my door open for anyone, like open for business or whatever, and they made me feel like ashamed of it, even though that wasn't the case. And but I also lost Max, and I was so embarrassed about that because you put it in that social. It was put in that social feed. You don't use Nextdoor, but you guys use something else. And I was so embarrassed, and a cop even showed up like to check on me, and like I didn't tell him a goddamn thing because I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with me. And I already suspected Gavin because one time he returned my keys to me on a key ring, and I had not. Those had been taken from my apartment. And I hadn't said anything yet because I thought they must still be in the apartment. They were not left anywhere outside of the apartment. Someone took them out of my apartment while I was in the apartment, and then Gavin returned them to me. And so I didn't want to be too paranoid. I don't know, I did air quotes, but I suspected that he was aware of something. But he might have just been giving me a funny look because he was like, "Look, like get your shit together. Like don't leave your keys around." But he seemed to be behaving very weirdly. And